Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scouting for Chelsea on Chelsea Perspective. But before we continue, please smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and more importantly, click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. So, let's get into it. Today, I have with me a very special guest. You might know him already, Miz from the other side of the con. Miz, welcome to Chelsea Perspective.
Yeah, man, really happy to be here. Coachella, you're one of the ones who've always supported my channel, so I do appreciate that. And I always like to return back to the community, and I'm very happy to be joining you in your channel here.
I appreciate that. I've seen it myself that you always like to give back to the community however way you can, and you give voice to the fans in your channel, and that is very good to see. And that's what I'm looking to emulate. And hopefully I'll be able to emulate that and execute it perfectly like you always do on your channel. So, Miz, welcome again to Chelsea Perspective. So tell us, what player did you scout, and what position does the player play?
Yeah, look, one particular player, young player that I wouldn't mind Chelsea to get. And look, I'll be honest, I'm no scout out there. I barely get time to watch anything besides Chelsea games. Here and there, I watch a few other games. But one player that I have been keenly sort of watching is probably Jude Bellingham in the last season. You know, I've watched a few games of Dortmund. Yeah, Jude Bellingham. And I watched a few games of Dortmund. Obviously, in the Champions League as well, Jude Bellingham has been quite a instrumental player for Dortmund. So that's the player that I would love to talk to you about today.
Wow. What position does he really play in? I've watched him in a few games, but I couldn't, I can't really tell what position he plays in exactly.
Look, he plays in midfield, generally either defensive midfield or center midfield. The way he plays for Dortmund is not really a defensive midfielder, but more someone as a center midfielder who loves to progress the ball forward. He's very good with the passing ranges as well, but defensively, he's not bad either. So it's not like he can't play defensive midfield. He can definitely play that as well. But I think he's probably more suited as a center midfielder, someone who's more sort of in the middle of let's say a midfield of three, and literally just stringing the passes, but at the same time has the capability to drive forward with the ball. You would have noticed for Dortmund in the Champions League when they played Man City, where he drove forward and literally he scored the goal. That goal should have counted hadn't it been for Edison. But yeah, that's the position he generally plays for Dortmund, and that's the position he's generally played. He's still like 17, 18, so he's very young anyway. But that's what he's been playing as a even more of a junior player as well.
Yeah, I understand everything you said, but my question is, doesn't it look like we're already packed in the midfield? We have, if we say central midfield, we have Jorginho, we have Kovacic, we have N'Golo Kante, and there's also the rumors that the club may sign Tchouaméni or even Declan Rice. So are you suggesting that the club should go for Jude Bellingham and forget about the likes of Declan Rice and also Tchouaméni?
Look, I mean, Jude Bellingham is probably not a particular prospect in this window at all, but there are rumors that Chelsea, with the whole Haaland deal, that they are setting up for the Jude Bellingham deal down the track, maybe next season or the season after. So players like Kante and Jorginho, they're going to be entering their 30s. I'm pretty sure, I think Kante has entered his 30s. So it's not like Kante is going to be playing for Chelsea for a very long time. Jorginho is the similar situation as well. Kovacic, whether we see a lot more of him in the coming future, I don't know. Declan Rice, obviously a clear favorite for Chelsea in terms of Thomas Tuchel favors him as well. So he's young. Billy Gilmour's another player that's gone on loan. Tchouaméni is a player that is getting touted as well. So, but when you take out players like Kante and Jorginho in a couple of seasons' time, you definitely have a position there. And in the midfield, you do need a little bit of a heavy sort of midfield, because there's injuries and you play more players in the midfield. Once we sort of, whether we stay with a back three or we go back to a back four, we're probably going to add another midfielder. So you do need a little bit more depth in that midfield. And I think someone like Jude Bellingham, with the amount of games that Chelsea plays, Champions League, Premier League, domestic cups, we're involved in so many different competitions. There's always going to be game time for someone like Jude Bellingham down the track. As I said, Kante and Jorginho are not going to be playing for Chelsea forever. Do you know what I mean? So at max, maybe 2 more seasons or 3 to the maximum. And so you need to have someone like Jude Bellingham, I believe, ready to go. I would even put him ahead of Declan Rice, to be honest. I personally think Jude Bellingham's game is a lot more conducive of how Chelsea plays.
Very well, fair enough for me, a fair argument for me. But specifically, Miz, what attributes should we sign him now? Will he bring to the table that our current midfielders don't already offer the team, like the likes of Jorginho, Kovacic, N'Golo Kante, and possibly, let's say, I think that's it, the 3 of them. What attributes would Jude bring to the table that those 3 midfielders don't already offer the team?
Yeah, man. Look, I'm just looking at the stats right now. It looks like, let me just bring up the season for last one. I can already see that he produces goals and he gives assists as well. So last season in the Bundesliga, he played 29 games, Champions League 10 games, all up in all club competition. He's played 46 games, 4 goals, 4 assists, and he's only 17. Well, he's going to be 18 now, or he's 18. So for an 18-year-old to play 46 games, for me, that's availability. That means he's not injury prone. So that's a very big asset for us in Chelsea, when we've seen players like Kante and Kovacic get injured here and there and they're missing out the games. But it's the goals and assists as well that he provides. 4 goals, 4 assists in all club competition last season from that defensive centre mid position. I mean, that will go a long way for us. When you look at players like Jorginho, yeah, he's the top scorer, but he's scored all the goals from penalties. And then when you look at players like Kante, Kovacic, we don't necessarily get enough goals and assists from them. And I'm not saying that they need to give us that. But if a player that can do similar work like what Kante and Jorginho does and Kovacic, but also provide goals and assists, I think that's an attribute which really, really excites me.
Yeah, I have to agree, because during the past season, the midfield didn't really contribute that much to goals, except for Jorginho, who was the highest goal scorer for the past season. But the goals he scored all came from penalty spots, and there weren't too many assists also from the midfield. So if Jude can make a difference in those aspects, then why shouldn't the club go for him? And hopefully they are looking at him. So, Miz, I know you've mentioned his statistics partially while you were explaining what he brings to the table that others don't bring to the table. Can you please give us a lowdown of his overall statistics in the past season?
Look, from what I can see, he's played, as I said, 46 games last season, 2,821 minutes. He's only conceded 9 yellow cards and 1 which was a 2 yellow that turned into a red. So he's a disciplined kind of player. So he's not like someone who's very erratic, who's goes out there and tackles ridiculously and gets a lot of yellow cards or things like that. So from that perspective, I do like him a lot. As I said, the minutes, plays a lot of minutes, so you can tell that he's a bit of a he's a bit of an engine. And as I said, I don't have the passing statistics here, but I've seen him play, and he's someone who enjoys getting the ball a lot. He doesn't shy away from the ball, and Chelsea play in a particular system where you build up from the back, and you do need to be able to be very good on the ball. So his ball playing abilities, I definitely like a lot. His athleticism, as I said, his ability to drive with the ball as well. So he brings that Kovacic factor, how Kovacic has a great way of driving through the middle. Someone like Jude Bellingham is quite capable of doing that. And yeah, he's athletic. He's not scared to put in a tackle. He's very, very good without the ball. Off the ball, he's fantastic defensively as well. So yeah, these are some of the statistics wise. I really enjoy him.
Yeah, I mean, at his age, you can say, I mean, he's good enough to play for Chelsea. And one attribute you mentioned that I value so much is ball progression. That is very important to the way we play, because we struggled so much against teams that defend deep last season, most especially when Kovacic was out of the team, when he got injured. And that's something we need to sort out. So whenever Kovacic isn't playing, we have somebody else who's able to progress the ball against opponents who press us aggressively or opponents who defend deep. So yeah, that's a great attribute that he has that I think will go a long way if eventually the club signs him, because the truth is there's been rumors that we're looking at him, and hopefully that's the truth. Miz, let me ask you this question, and it's a question that might get you into trouble in the Twitter sphere. Let me put it that way. So would you argue that Jude is better than Jorginho, or better than N'Golo Kante, or better than Kovacic?
Look, no, I don't think at the moment it would be fair to say Jude Bellingham is better than any of those players. But I think he potentially has the capability to be better than all of those players. I mean, look, I'm saying that in a very light manner, because I think Kante is a fantastic player, Jorginho is a fantastic player, and Kovacic is a fantastic player. But Jude is only 18, so and already at such a young age, he's such a fantastic player. He has a long way to go until he hits his peak. If we say the peak age is somewhere around 25, 26, he's literally got another 6 more, 6-7 years before he hits his peak, and he's already this good. So, I think he brings a lot of things that Jorginho has. I think he brings a lot of things that Kante has. I think he brings a lot of things that Kovacic has. He's like a package of all of those three in one, where his passing ability is very good. He has the ability to drive with the ball like Kovacic, and off the ball, he's got the engine like Kante. So, I'm definitely not going to say that he's going to be surpassing those great players like Kante and Kovacic and Jorginho, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does that either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get your point. Fair argument there. I wouldn't come out and say that he's better than any of them. If you understand what I mean, I don't want to cause any trouble. And like you, what I understand from your argument, he's one for the future. But right now, also, you argue that at his age, he's gained so much experience that which rarely comes by for a player at 18. So that's great to know. So Miz, what is his transfer value?
Yeah, look, as per the transfer market website that I'm looking at right now, they're valuing him at 55 million euros, which is, wow, like for an 18-year-old, 55 million, that's a lot of money. And that's why, Dortmund, they're not worried. This is the whole argument that gets into the situation where, Haaland, we're looking to get Haaland, and he's going to cost somewhere around 150 million. And I've been putting the argument from a different perspective, saying that Dortmund should not get too greedy with Haaland. They should try and be a bit more reasonable with their price with Haaland, because they literally have a player like Jude Bellingham who's going to be worth a lot of money for them again down the track. So they've already lost Sancho. I think they've got somewhere around 85, 90 million euros for that. They're going to get a lot of money. And Jude Bellingham, this season, he's already 55 million. I'm pretty sure next season that's going to go to at least 80 million. So, right now he's 55 million euros, which is probably decent, because all the experience that he's had already in Bundesliga, and he's a Champions League player. He's actually playing Champions League, and he's played against Manchester City in the semi-finals, and he was actually a very, very important player for Dortmund in that particular fixture.
Yeah, I think you make a very, very great point in terms of his price, the possibility of his price to go up next season, and that's because he's probably next in line after Haaland, Sancho. He's probably the next biggest asset they have in the squad, and would want to make the most, that get a sizable fee from his sale should they decide to sell him. That brings me to the next question, Miz. The question I was asking, having sold Sancho to Manchester United, and also there's that possibility that Chelsea might complete the signing of Erling Haaland in the same window. Do you think there's that possibility for Dortmund to sell Jude Bellingham this same transfer window, or even in the next transfer window? Because you could argue that after Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho, the next biggest asset at Dortmund would be probably Jude Bellingham. So
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, 100% agreed that the next big superstar for Dortmund to sell would be Jude Bellingham after Erling Haaland, but I don't think it's going to happen this window. I think a lot of conversation could start in the next transfer window, so not the January one, but the next summer. Once Jude Bellingham plays a whole another season under Dortmund, and hopefully touch wood that he doesn't get injured, and he does well in the Bundesliga, and he does well in the Champions League, and he can improve on the stats that we've already talked about, I think a lot of clubs will be after him. 100%, a lot of clubs will be after him. So it's either next season, next summer, or definitely the summer after he's gone from Dortmund.
Yeah, and you could also argue that lots of clubs are already looking at him at this point. And there's something you mentioned about his price going up. Definitely, and that's that at 50 right now. Probably by next transfer window or so, it's gonna be something close to 70, or if not more, depends on, like you said, if he improves on the stats that you just read. Mitch, it's a pleasure having you, and I can't thank you enough for finding the time to be here. I know how busy you've been, and let me say how busy you are. You're always you stream daily. And I sincerely do appreciate you finding time to be here. So please take some time, tell the viewers about your channel, how they can find your content.
100%. Look, Coachella, thank you so much. Obviously, daily streams. I love talking to the Chelsea fan base. I love seeing you on the live chat. I love having different people from the fans come in and talk about Chelsea, which is fantastic. So thoroughly enjoy what I do. If your viewers, if you guys want to follow me on my particular channel, which is called The Other Side of the Coin, literally just type The Other Side of the Coin and you should see my profile come up. And we talk a lot about Chelsea football, but not just Chelsea football, anything that is topical, I suppose, to talk about. I did a piece a few days ago where we talked about English media and how, sometimes they target certain players. So we talk about many different things. So, and other clubs as well at times. Like yesterday, we talked about Sancho to Man United and how Chelsea fans feel about that. So, if you do enjoy all of that, and it's a very, very structured and well-balanced sort of channel that I'm trying to drive. So if you do want to get a piece of that, come to The Other Side of the Coin and subscribe.
Yes, people, you've heard him. If you love to listen to people talk football from an intellectual perspective, arguments that make sense, and also if you like a channel where pressing issues in the Chelsea fan base community are addressed, Miz is your man. So go check out The Other Side of the Coin. And I promise you will not be disappointed. Also, please don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share the videos, and more importantly, subscribe if you haven't, and click on the bell notification button so that you don't miss anything. Miz, it's a pleasure having you on, and I look forward to having you on another episode. Thank you very much for finding the time to be here, my friend.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you.